The estimate said $4,200. The truck arrived, two men loaded your house into it, and 11 days later, the bill at the other end said $6,100. Nobody lied to you. Nobody added a fake line. Every charge on that invoice is legal, disclosed, and printed in a tariff you were legally entitled to read, and almost certainly did not. Moving is a $23 billion industry in the United States, spread across about 9,100 companies, and the top four of them hold only 32% of the market between them. So this is not a cartel. There is no boardroom. What there is instead is a pricing structure that almost nobody outside the trade understands, and one moment in the middle of every long-distance move where the price stops being a conversation and becomes a fact. So let us follow one ordinary interstate move from the phone call to the front door and work out at exactly which minute you lost the ability to negotiate. Because you did lose it, and it happened earlier than you think. Before the truck shows up, I want a number from you. What is the gap between the quote you were given and the amount you actually paid on your last move? Not the total. The gap. I want the two figures and the direction because I have a suspicion the comments are going to be almost entirely one way, and I would genuinely love to be proved wrong by somebody who paid less than they were quoted. And if your thumb is already down there, the like and the subscribe are the only reason these keep getting made, right? The phone call, you searched for movers, you clicked a listing, you filled in a form, and within 4 minutes, 3 companies rang you. That speed is the first thing worth explaining because it is not customer service. It is an auction. A large share of the moving websites you land on are not moving companies at all. They are brokers. A broker does not own a truck, does not employ a crew, and will never touch your sofa. A broker sells your phone number and your inventory list to a carrier who does and takes a cut for the introduction. So the company that quoted you and the company that arrives may share no legal relationship you were ever told about. The estimate was written by a salesperson working from a list you read out over the phone of a house they have never entered, containing furniture they have never seen. And the industry has a name for that document. It is a non-binding estimate. Those two words are doing an enormous amount of work. A binding estimate is a price. If the mover gives you one, that is what you pay, whatever ends up on the truck. A non-binding estimate is not a price. It is a guess with legal protection built in for the person guessing. And in the industry's own language, the actual charges will be determined by the tariff, which means the published rate schedule, which means weight and distance, which means the estimate you agreed to was never the thing you were buying. And here's the word to hold on to because everything from here runs through it. The scale, not your inventory, not your quote. A weighbridge somewhere on a road you will never drive down with your entire life on it, and you are not there. That is the whole business. Everything before the scale is marketing. Everything after it is collection. Now watch how the number moves on the way there. Long distance moving prices on weight and distance. Rates commonly run somewhere around 50 to 80 cents per pound on interstate routes, and a 3-bedroom house typically weighs between 7 and 10,000 pounds. So take our example. You told the salesperson 6,000 pounds because you were reading a list and you forgot the garage, the loft, the shed, and the fact that books are the heaviest object most people own. The truck actually leaves with 8,100. At 65 cents a pound, that is a line haul charge of $5,265 against an estimate of $4,200. And not one dishonest thing has happened. You gave them a number. The number was wrong. The scale does not care whose fault that is. Then come the charges that are not weighed at all, and this is where the invoice starts growing sideways. If the truck cannot park within a certain distance of your door, that is a long carry, and it is billed by the foot. If there is no lift, that is a stair carry, billed by the flight. If the street is too narrow for a 53-foot trailer and they have to transfer your things into a smaller van to reach you, that is a shuttle, and a shuttle can run several $100s on its own. Bulky article fees for the piano, the safe, the treadmill, the marble tabletop, packing materials by the box, and a labor charge for the packing itself if you did not do it. None of these are invented at the door. They are all in the tariff. The tariff was available. It runs to dozens of pages of rate tables, and almost no customer in the history of the industry has read one, which is not a scandal. It is just true. And every business that prices this way knows it. So, Our move, 5,265 of line haul, 150 for a long carry, 200 for stairs, 500 for a shuttle. $6,115 against a quote of 4,200, a 46% gap, produced entirely by disclosed charges applied to an inventory you supplied yourself. And now your possessions are on a truck, and you are standing in an empty house. This is the part everybody has heard about, and it is also the part almost everybody gets wrong. So let us be precise, because the honest version matters more than the angry one. On a non-binding estimate, federal rules say the mover cannot require you to pay more than 110% of the estimate before they release your goods. Everything above that gets billed to you afterwards, normally over the following 30 days. So on a $4,200 estimate, they can demand $4,620 at the door and no more. The remaining $1,500 is a debt, not a ransom. When a mover parks outside your new house and refuses to open the trailer until you produce the full $6,000 in cash, that is not clever pricing. That is illegal. It has a name in the complaint data. They call it a hostage load. And in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's own breakdown, hostage loads are 31% of all household goods complaints, the single largest category, bigger than damage at 24%, bigger than late delivery at 19%, bigger than overcharging at 15%. So there are two separate things happening in this industry, and it is worth keeping them apart. There is the legal version, which is the gap between an estimate and a tariff, and it is enormous, and it is disclosed, and it is how the business works. And there is the illegal version at the edge of it, which is a man with your bed in his truck asking for cash. The second one exists because the first one created the conditions for it. Every hostage load starts as a perfectly ordinary underestimate, the regulator has noticed. In 2022, the FMCSA received over 7,500 complaints against movers and brokers, more than double the figure from 2015. And household goods complaints rose 27% year over year. In a single stretch of April 2024, they ran investigations across 17 states aimed specifically at hostage complaints. The previous year's sweep turned up 1,014 regulatory violations. This is not a quiet corner. It is one of the most complained about consumer industries in the country, and it has been escalating for a decade. And it is not new. Back in December 2011, Senator Jay Rockefeller opened a Commerce Committee investigation into exactly this: movers holding furniture and possessions hostage. 15 years ago. The complaint volume has roughly doubled since. Now, the steel man, because the movers have a real case, and it does not get made often enough. Nobody can know what your house weighs until it is on a scale. Not the salesperson, not you. A visual survey helps, and a good company will insist on one, but you are the person who described the contents, and you are the person who forgot the garage. Stairs genuinely do cost more because 2 men carrying 8,000 pounds up 3 flights is 2 men doing several hours of additional labor. A shuttle genuinely costs more because it is a second vehicle and a second load, and the margins are not fat. 9,100 companies, roughly 40% of them turning over less than $500,000 a year. In a business with fuel, trucks, insurance, seasonal demand that collapses in February and overwhelms them in July, and a workforce doing genuinely brutal physical labor. The reason this industry is full of small operators making questionable calls at the delivery door is not that it is enormously profitable. It is that it mostly is not, and the fragmentation is the problem rather than the evidence of a conspiracy. Which brings us to the number I want you to sit with, because it is the one that reframes everything above. Every interstate mover is required to offer a default level of liability at no extra charge. It is called released value protection, and it is set at 60 cents per pound per article. Per pound. So take the 8,100 pounds of your house that they just charged you 65 cents a pound to carry. If the truck burns to the ground on the interstate, the default compensation is 60 cents a pound. $4,860 for everything you own. Read those two rates next to each other because they are the thesis of the entire industry. It costs you roughly 65 cents a pound to have your possessions moved, and they are worth 60 cents a pound if the mover destroys them. The same pound, almost the same price, to carry it or to lose it. Your grandmother's dresser weighs 140 pounds. Under release value, it is worth $84. A television weighing 40 pounds is worth $24. There is a full value protection option. It is real, and it costs extra. and it is offered to you in a paragraph on a form on the morning. The truck arrives while three men are carrying boxes past you, and you are trying to find your car keys. Both of those things are true at once. The protection exists, and the moment it is offered is the moment you are least equipped to evaluate it. So what is actually holding this model up, and what is pulling it apart? The first prop is information. This business has always run on the fact that you move house maybe 4 or 5 times in your life, and the mover does it every day. You cannot estimate weight. You have never read a tariff. You have no basis for knowing whether 4,200 was a good quote or a lowball designed to win the booking. That asymmetry is the product. The second prop is timing. A move is not a purchase you can walk away from. There is a date on a lease or a closing. Your children start school. The van is booked. By the time the price becomes real, the alternative to paying it is not shopping around. It is having no furniture, and both props are being quietly removed. Portable container companies sell you a box that sits on your driveway, and it prices on volume you can see with your own eyes rather than weight you cannot. Enforcement is tightening. Brokers face registration requirements they did not used to, and the complaint data is now public and searchable before you book. The information asymmetry that this entire pricing structure rests on is thinner every year, and a business that depends on you not knowing the number does not survive you being able to look it up. So step back and look at what actually happened. You did not buy a move. You bought an option, and the mover was the one holding it. The estimate was not a price. It was a marketing document with the word estimate on it doing all the legal work. The price was set later by weight on a scale you did not attend, in a place you could not name, at a moment when your possessions had already left your possession. You never agreed a price. You handed over the collateral, and then you agreed to find out. So the next time a company quotes you $4,200 over the phone in under 4 minutes without ever seeing your house, understand what you are being handed. Not a price, a number that gets you to sign, followed by a weighbridge somewhere on a road between two cities where the real one is decided without you. If you got something out of that, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That is genuinely the whole thing that decides whether these keep getting made, and it costs you one tap. And if you want the same move in a different industry, the tow truck video is the closest relative to this one. Another business where the thing you thought you were paying for was not the thing making the money, and where your property's sitting somewhere you cannot reach is the entire model. Or work through the money and business playlist on the channel. See you in the next one.